Yeah, the most out of nowhere story, that's for sure.
Um, for those who haven't heard yet, there's a workout going on Saturday at the Atlanta Falcons facility, and the person taking part is Colin Kaepernick. Um, yeah, you heard that right. Colin Kaepernick is gonna have a workout this week. He was told on Tuesday, which is hilarious that they just told him. Um, this is just such a weird story for so many reasons. I'm really curious to see how the workout goes. B, if anyone makes any steps towards signing him. I highly doubt anyone would this year, just because like he's been out of the league for so long that like
Yeah, the only
I don't
possibility I
know
think
why
would
I
be a
don't know
futures contract.
yeah, I don't know why you'd bring him in right now. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But yeah, it's such a weird time for this workout. Very curious to see why they did this. Like the information that's coming out is kind of incomplete and confusing to say the least on why now.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, like there's just a lot of confusion and man, like I don't. What do you think of this workout? What do you like? How do you think Cap's gonna do? This is just such a fascinating NFL story.
Yeah, I think um, it's definitely kind of out of nowhere. A confusing story, that's for sure. I think Kaepernick will do a decent job. Of course, he's been training for 3 years. If he has been, like you said, he should be good enough. Of course, there's an interview and a workout, and uh, I think they should go well. He was a decent quarterback when he played. Of course, maybe not as much near the end. It could have been a reason why he didn't have a job near the end. Of course, there's political reasons a lot of people want to say as well, but yeah,
So
it's
basically
interesting. That's what I'd say. I want to
so
know your take.
so basically what I'm reading is several teams have been in contact with the league office to ask about Kaepernick's status, and basically the league is just like, you can sign him. We don't care. Like,
Yeah,
please stop at like we know he sued us, but we don't care.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? So, which again, it proves that he was like, I don't know what to tell everyone. He wasn't blackballed. Like, nobody just wanted a firestorm for their backup quarterback. Like, I don't know why this is this hard to understand with people. Like, you just the worst thing you can have is a famous backup quarterback. Because the second your quarterback plays bad, even if it's Brady, people are gonna be like, "Huh, maybe we should have Kaepernick in the game," just because of his brand and the association people have, and because of that, that's why no one's gonna sign. That's why no one has signed the guy. It's because his talent doesn't justify his baggage. There's this old saying in the NFL that you'll be in the league as long as your talent outweighs your baggage,
hmm
and Kaepernick's doesn't. He's somewhere in between. He was somewhere between the 30th and 45th best quarterback available. And when you're that level of player, no one wants you on their roster because everyone is gonna want you to play because of how polarizing you are. Like, so anytime, like, let's say everyone wanted the Bears to bring him in. Can you imagine the crap storm if the Bears have this guy on their roster right now?
Jeez, no, I
Like,
couldn't.
how is anyone gonna trust Trubisky? And like people are like, you want to have the best guys available on your roster. Like, I would argue Mariota played the worse this year because they brought in Tannehill.
Yeah, that would be a
Mariota,
fair
like,
statement.
and then some people be like, well, bringing in someone like a high level competitor brings out the best in people. Like, not necessarily. Not
hmm
everybody is. Not everybody's built that way. And if I'm an NFL team, I'm not gonna try and find. I'm not gonna find that out with how my quarterback plays in the season and be like, oh man, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, and
And then the other thing that people continue to forget is Kaepernick did 3 ridiculously stupid things when teams were considering signing him that people continuously overlook. The first and most obvious one is in his last year as a starter with the Niners. They played the Dolphins in like week 11 or 12. And in the lead up to the week, the guy wore a Fidel Castro t-shirt. Like, you want to know a quick way to not to disassociate yourself and never be brought in by a Miami organization? Support Fidel Castro. The Cuban population there would have I don't like that's just unreal, man. So I don't know how everyone forgets that. You can't bring him in to anywhere in Florida now with their Cuban population. You just can't.
Yep.
And then everyone just seems to gloss over all the social justice warriors who want Kaepernick signed, seem to gloss over the fact that the Baltimore Ravens were considering signing the guy, and his freaking girlfriend tweets out a picture of their owner and Ray Lewis in the same position with their head in the same position as the slave owner and slave in Django Unchained.
Jeez. That's
No,
bad.
no, of course they're not going to sign the guy.
Yeah.
Why would you bring this guy in? No one wants this guy around. And then the other thing is too, if you read the stories about Kaepernick's last year with the Niners, not many people liked the guy. He wasn't that liked in their organization. If you're the backup quarterback, you have to be a liked guy. You have to be a team first guy. No one ever called Kaepernick a team first guy in San Francisco. These are all these things that people just gloss over because he protested and then wasn't in the NFL. You know who is in the NFL? Eric Reed. He protested. You know who's in the NFL? Malcolm Jenkins. He protested. It's not just that he protested. He did a lot of stupid crap, and they still almost brought him in, and then stuff continued to happen, and then his representatives send out this statement saying that it's not Kaepernick's fault that he's not in the NFL. Yeah, it actually is. It's not 100% his fault, but let's be real here. There's a lot more blame that goes to him than people are giving credit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think you
man,
said that perfectly. To be honest, of course, there's a lot of things that he did wrong, and uh, I'll take the devil's advocate position on this one because I mean, there were times when he was in the NFL, he was an exciting quarterback to watch, and a lot of teams could use him to fill seats. A lot of teams could use him even just to give their off, like a team like Cincinnati, with no quarterback. Why not give him a shot? I think it's what a lot of people say. Of course, what you say kind of beats that down, and I'm having troubles being the devil's advocate because I'm kind of agreeing with what you're saying. He kind of went around things the wrong way initially, and I think it'll hurt him in the long run.
when when do you think the last time Colin Kaepernick was both healthy and on a decent to good NFL team?
That's I don't know, college? No, the 49ers,
What year?
2012 maybe?
2014 was the last year.
14?
The team went 8-8. He played all 16 games. His numbers are okay. 19 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he was
not
like he was
great.
okay.
And another one of my
But
kind of
since
things on this.
since
Sorry.
2014, he was a starter the next 2 years. 2015, he played 8 games, got hurt, and then 2016, he missed the start of the year. Eventually, won his job over Blaine Gabbert. Woo freaking who? He beat Blaine Gabbert in a QB battle.
Yeah,
His
and
his record in those years, because everyone always loves to throw out his touchdown to interception ratio. So let's throw out some other stats that kind of show the kind of quarterback he was. So he was 3-16 in those 2 years. His completion percentage is 59%. Everyone likes to throw the 16 touchdowns, 4 picks year with Chip Kelly. He was 6 touchdowns and 5 picks the year before. He wasn't a good player anymore. Like he was a really good player. 2012, they went to the Super Bowl. He played
Yeah.
7 games, went 5-2. He was really good that year. 2013, they went to the NFC Championship game. They went 12-4. Then ever since then, he hasn't been good. Like I just read you the numbers. He hasn't. He was good for 2.5 years max. More like one
Hmm.
and a half.
Yeah, and something you brought up earlier with a team like Chicago, why aren't they signing him? A lot of people are saying, when you look at the quarterback market next year, you have a guy, Cam Newton, who's a better thrower, and maybe not as great of a runner. We don't know if Kaepernick can still run at this point, but
On
I mean,
Saturday.
Cam Newton's a good player. I really do wish this Kaepernick try or not, I don't know if it's a tryout or workout. If it was, I wish it was broadcasted. I'd love to tune into it. It seems weird that it's not because a lot of people do think this is a publicity stunt, but uh, yeah, should be interesting to see how that goes. I'm excited to hear some reports out of it, and we'll definitely keep updated with that.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I don't get this wrong. That like I'm a Kaepernick hater. Like he was a really good player for those 2 years in the
Yeah,
playoffs. But like to act like Eric Reed said he was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson. Like shut up.
yeah, that's not true.
Michael
And
Vick was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson.
you don't come
Col-
off you don't
Colin
come off with
Kaepernick.
sounding like a Kaepernick hater at all. I think you're coming off bringing up very valid
What
points that people need to consider.
like? Do you know who the accurate comp to Colin Kaepernick is? Looking at these numbers, do you know who it actually? It's Trubisky.
Yeah, that's good.
He's a hell of a lot more like Trubisky than he is like uh, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why everyone want like I understand he ended up not in the NFL, and it seems like, and at least part of it was definitely due to the protesting.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, what people also fail to understand is that he protested at his place of work, and technically his place of work has every right to tell you to stop.
Yeah.
Like like people say freedom of speech. They didn't say you can't go protest outside on his Twitter account. They said you couldn't at work. There's a
Yeah.
significant difference. Like everyone go to their boss tomorrow and start protesting your country. Like you know what I mean? Like it's obviously probably not going to fly. And obviously those are different situations and there's a little difference, but to say why the NFL may have been upset is probably an accurate there's some accuracy to that. But even still, then Eric Reed wouldn't be in the NFL. Kenny Stills wouldn't be in the NFL and neither would Malcolm Jenkins. But you know what?
Hmm.
They're all in the NFL right now. So I I don't know what to tell people, man. Like it's crazy how the story has taken a life of its own, and it's completely like. Do you know what the most yards Kaepernick has thrown for in his career in a season is?
No idea. Like 2000.
Okay, so his best year, he was 58% completion,
Yep.
just under 3,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks. His rating was 91.6, which is okay.
Hmm.
They went 12-4. That's his best year by far. And that was 6 years ago. Like,
Yeah. And, I don't want to beat a dead horse with this story, talk about it too much because I know it gets a lot of attention. But yeah, it is important to bring it up. And like you said, I think Trubisky's a great comparison. Trubisky, I guess that's a good kind of segue into our next segment or the next thing we're going to be talking about. The
do you know, do you know who the MVP was the last year Colin Kaepernick was good?
who?
Peyton Manning.
Jeez,
Do you know who the rookie of the year was?
who?
Eddie Lacy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the NFL has changed a lot since then, so it'll be fascinating to see how
Like,
that turns out.
oh man. Like
Uh,
obviously we just dove into the Kaepernick rabbit hole for way longer than I think we anticipated going in, but
mhm.
But obviously, I guess that's kind of going to happen when he gets this weird ass workout at the Falcons training facility. If I was the Falcons, I'd be kind of mad. Like, why is it in my facility? Like, this is so weird.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm curious.
It doesn't matter that
I'm
much.
curious to see. I'm curious to see what comes out of it. Like,
Yeah, me too.
part of me hopes he gets into the league because like I'm just so tired of this story. And like, I either hope A, he's garbage in the workout, or B, he gets in the league. Like, if he's like really average, then it's just gonna keep the story going even longer.
Yeah.
Because like he won't be bad enough for everyone to be like he sucks, but like he won't be good enough for everyone to be like he needs to be on a team. It'll just be like this weird in between where we just stay in the same place.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about it quite a bit.
So
So
let's transition on to the Sunday night football games.